Hello and welcome to the OverShadow ShadowCast with your host Thomas Anderson, Abigail Moat.
Thanks for joining us again.
So you decided to take the enjoyment...
I'm going to try and be upbeat because I'm really tired.
Yeah, you're going to be energetic because I've tried that and it just comes across...
I'm just going to let that adrenaline just start shooting through my body.
For some reason when I try and force energy, I just sort of look drunk.
Look. I'm the only person that can see you.
No, but I think I look it too.
Nobody else in the world can see you, just me. Turns out you're actually an imaginary friend.
And you're just really good at throwing your voice.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Abigail. Hi, I'm Tommy. How are you doing? Hello. I'm now going to focus really hard to not ever be speaking at the same time as you.
That's going to be very annoying.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, well, I've not been playing anything this week because I've not been very well.
Mm-hmm.
Again.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you been playing anything?
No.
So shall we just carry on to the news then? The most important part of the discussion? And let's see if I can actually contribute this week.
As you wish.
So do you want to start it off then?
Okay. I'm being very careful not to speak.
That...
You could possibly speak over the top of me. Okay, the first little story. No.
It's not a little story.
No, it's not little at all.
Many lines.
The first story, it's a macro story because it's very many lines. That we're going to talk about today. We're going to discuss. We're going to have a little look at.
We're going to discuss GTA Online.
See, we don't speak at the same time. I don't exist.
Online casino.
Yep, GTA Online has added an online casino which allows you to enter the casino and you can use the money you have in-game, convert it into chips, and you can then gamble it as if it's real.
Okay.
And I believe that you do actually win more money. So I think that actually, depending on the game you're playing, you can win prizes in-game. So like a car in-game, that sort of thing.
Oh, so like a genuine casino, you walk in and there's like a car that you could win or a jackpot or something like that?
Or yeah, so there's non-in-game money, there's in-game other things as well apparently you can win too. Now, the obvious knock-on effect of this or the obvious attachment to this particular piece of news is the fact that, have you heard of shark cards, Midir?
Yes, I have heard of shark cards.
Is that?
I've also heard of card sharks.
Oh my god, I'm an idiot.
Card sharks are normally people who are very, very good at playing cards. Or people who play cards a lot, the card sharks.
Maybe Clinton just hires a whole load of sharks to make their cards. I really
just there with their fins.
I really never saw that. So is that the noise a shark makes for you?
That's why I imagine a card just playing with cards going.
That's a dolphin. That's a dolphin you doing.
It's a dolphin pretending to be a shark so you can get employment.
Just wearing big fake teeth. I'd be a shark.
It's got like not that. It's like a face like surgeon's masks. He's got one of those. He's just drawing on big shark teeth.
I preferred the idea of a huge big pair of fake teeth that means he can't ever properly shut his mouth. So he's just like.
Is that what you meant by that?
What?
Instead of shark cards, you meant card sharks.
No, I meant shark cards, but I never saw the...
You never saw the...
No, I never.
Right.
Because I was too busy looking at all the rest of the information and I was exhausted when I did this, so I never saw it.
Just playing cards floating through the water just with a shark fin on top.
Yeah, I played a game of solitaire the other day with actual cards, right?
Yeah.
First game, and I won straight away.
Well done.
Mental. So
I used to like playing solitaire on the computer because I don't know if it does this for you, but it does that thing. If you finish it like bounces about the screen.
Yeah, the cards try and kill you. but don't realise that they can't.
Imagine playing that in 3D. If you had like not so much 3D, but if you had like VR goggles on.
You could. You could. I genuinely think you'd be sick.
Anywho.
As we were saying, because of the shark cards, shark cards, you can purchase in-game money with real money. So that means that there is a mechanism basically for you to pay real money in to then gamble it.
So is that optional in the game? You don't have to use your own currency. You can just...
Oh yeah, because you can earn all the in-game currency. Me and Brian haven't bought any, and we've got like 15 million between the two of us, 2 houses, like 6 or 7 cars. Yeah.
So if you were
guns.
to bet use real world money to buy in-game currency, could you then convert it back into real world money?
No. See, that's a bigger part that comes later in the story. But currently, there isn't a mechanism to do that, and Rockstar themselves would never add it because that then becomes a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Well, for example, they'd actually have to then pay you.
Yeah.
So that's I don't think they're ever going to add that.
No.
But that's not. Yeah. But that's a point for later on in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So as we said, the game in the casino technically allows you to convert real money into chips and then use them in gambling.
Yeah.
Which most people would be considered to be gambling. Now, resultantly, a number of countries, 50 at last count, have banned or clipped the update so that it meets their gambling laws.
Yeah.
Now, I think there might be 50 countries that have banned it outright and others have clipped it, but I'm unsure. Now, this is obviously to meet each country's independent gambling law.
Yes.
Which I don't think we have.
I think we do. We've got certain gambling laws.
Independent gambling laws.
Don't know.
I don't think we control our own gambling laws. Anyway.
I got a question.
On you go.
So does that mean if this game was in America, for example, they'd have to adhere to the laws in each state?
I can bring that up later on, but yeah, I'll bring it up.
Okay, sorry.
The UK, or as I've written it here, UK. For some reason it's auto uncapitalised the second K. It must be a German piece of software, this. The UK is an anything goes country, so this sort of thing is, there's no law pertaining to this being...
Mm-hmm. Whenever you say it, now that you said anything goes, I've just got that song from Indiana Jones Temple of Doom stuck in my head at the beginning.
Anything goes, yeah. I just realised though that because I'm sitting here with nothing in my hands, I'm doing that. So people might be hearing this noise, which is me putting...
unclasping your hands and clasping your hands again.
Yeah, lacing, interweaving my fingers.
You could also just say clasping.
Yes, of course, but I'm going to be fancy. So I'll try and do this. Punch them together instead. So UK is an anything goes country. Gambling is allowed here as long as you fall within regulations, and because of blah, 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 that's fine. Belgium is what I've called tier 2, or basically just a separate group where it's clipped. So in Belgium you can use the gambling mechanics even though they have anti-gambling laws, but you can only use currency earned through gameplay. So
you can't buy your own currency.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think it's possibly because they banned loot boxes.
Yeah, no, I can understand that, yes.
Or it might be a gambling thing where they're like, do you know what, our legislation gives you flexibility to do this as long as you're not able to put real money in.
Yeah.
So, meh.
Meh.
And then I've come up with tier 3, group 3 is Portugal as a good example of that, which blocks access. Now, they don't have gambling, you're not allowed to.
So it's banned?
Yes, so... They've
illegal.
just blocked access to the tables. In the DLC, you can't physically get to the tables where the gambling happens. You've asked a question in different states in America.
Yes.
From the looks of it, it's not working correctly everywhere. Some people are reporting that they can't access it when they should be able to. Other people are reporting that they can when they shouldn't.
Okay.
And in the case of Hawaii and Utah, I think it is, who banned gambling, you can still play the update. Now, these are all... this is all anecdotal.
Yes.
It's just people on Twitter and stuff saying they can, but this seems to be the noise at the minute, is that in certain states in America land you can, even if it's banned.
Okay.
A way around this is a VPN. I think it's called a virtual private network.
I've heard a lot about VPNs, but because I watch a lot of American YouTube channels, a lot of people are promoting like the companies to protect VPNs.
Aye. So VPN essentially allows you...
it's like virtual and personal network or something, I think you said, yeah.
Yeah. So or private, I'm not sure.
I'll look it up.
Right.
You keep talking, I'll look it up.
Essentially, a VPN allows you to operate almost as if you were in a different country. So if you get a VPN attached to an account based in the UK, then you can go to other countries, and as long as you log into your things through that VPN, you essentially are able to, on the internet, function like you're in that country in the first place.
It's a virtual private network.
Now, the point is that allows you to function as if you are in that country.
Yeah.
But in the case of playing a gambling game, you're still in the country you're in. So, for example, China doesn't necessarily have laws that ban you from looking certain material up online. They just block access to it. So if you can get access, you're okay. You're not breaking a law because you're using a VPN. You're not allowed to share it with the wider populace. That's when they start to look at you like a spy.
Yeah.
But other than that, you can do your own thing. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're gambling in a country where it is illegal to gamble, if you use a VPN to get around it, you are at risk of breaking that country's laws.
Right.
So you might be sitting there thinking, oh, I've found my way around it. Well, depending on how the legislation is written, sometimes it's on the people who are hosting the gambling, sometimes it's not. But if you're using a deliberate workaround to get access, it could be conceived that you have broken the law.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily think this is worth it.
I don't think it's worth it either. You have to adhere to your country's laws or your state's laws.
Well, I don't mind protests, but I'm just
saying...
saying...
No, I don't. You have to keep within the limitations. You can protest against it.
Right, but I'm just saying that don't think you're really smart by working your way around it.
No.
Because it could be a crime.
Yeah.
Don't.
Is it worth it? Is it worth it?
Aye. I'm just saying that some of these people seem to think it's a game to get access. It's not. It could be against the law. Just the way that the comments were written. So the gambling in the game functions as a currency sink.
Yeah.
So you can... you take... Your hard-earned money in the game, it was kind of difficult to lose, because even if you did you could bet in the game, but you could only ever bet on, like, say if I was playing Brian a game of tennis in it, I could bet 500 of my in-game monies.
Yes.
That I would win. And so I'd get a wee bonus if I won.
Yeah.
But you only get it from the other person. So if they gamble as well, you basically get the winnings. You get a share of the winnings for winning, right?
That's good.
But it's 500 quid or 1,000 quid in game. Like, as I said, me and Brian have millions. And we never use the mechanic anyway. So it's more like a prize pot. It's kind of a bit different.
Yeah.
And it obviously is a tiny amount of money. But out with that, buying ammo is the only way. Because if you buy a gun, you've got that gun.
Yeah.
You can't re-buy the gun, you've already got the gun. If you buy the car, you've got the car. You could sell your car and re-buy it and sell your car and re-buy it, but that's you just burning money for no reason. Same with the apartments, you could buy and sell, buy and sell, buy and sell. But that's still burning money for no reason. There's very few actual sinks in the game, other than ammo. And you get like 25 grand for doing a mission, unless you are a terrible shot or you're just going mental. You're not using that amount of money.
Yeah.
That amount of ammo to spend that. Mm-hmm. So you're just accruing money. So I think that there's not an awful lot of money sinks in the game unless you just decide to burn your money for no reason. So adding a money sink does make sense
Yeah.
if they're trying to balance the world economy and get you to buy shark cards as well. They've also added, I think it's $62 million worth of stuff.
Yeah.
In the game. So I think total you need like 100 million to buy everything. Because if you include the starting stuff and all the other additions since. But as this is functional gambling,
Yeah.
it does run the risk of severe addiction, or people who are addicted to gambling getting caught up in its wheels. Now, Rockstar have added a limit to the conversion. So you take your your in-game money and you convert it into chips, right?
Yeah.
So what they've done is they've put in I think it's a 50,000 chips per hour, but I'm not sure about that second part, which is about 60 pence.
Okay.
If you were to buy in real money.
That's not a lot.
It's a good cap.
Yeah.
Like you can't, even if you were say, I'm not going to spend real money, and you accidentally burned through all your in-game money and suddenly you needed a bit of money, so you bought a shark card, they can't even take advantage of that. So it's quite a hefty limit.
Yeah.
There, of course, also I think there is some free stuff that you get. I think like a daily number that you might get. I'm not sure.
That's cool. Yeah.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
But there's obviously a daily limit to the conversion if it's 50,000 per hour.
Yeah. It's good that they have put a limit on it.
Now, a limit of this nature is essentially a form of self-regulation, which is why I think it's so severe, because they know that if they relax it at all, they'll be crushed by enforced regulations, as they have been in some countries like Portugal, where they're not allowed to have this at all.
Yeah.
Another risk from this is the issue of cashing out after you've won, like we mentioned. You asked if there's any way to get your money back out.
Yes. So
the creation of secondary markets may cause that to become a real reality, a possibility. Similar, I mean, I don't know if you remember this, last year we discussed the secondary market in CSGO skins, where people were selling them for like thousands.
I think I remember, yeah.
Yeah, so it became essentially gambling, because people were paying in for loot boxes so they could get a skin to sell on.
Yeah.
So that's gambling.
Yeah.
Now, I think we mentioned a couple of weeks ago that there's a UK parliamentary group or commission or something like that was looking into loot boxes.
Yeah.
And they found them not to be gambling, because there was no way to turn the prizes that you won back into money. As such, they can't be regulated by that commission because they fall out with their jurisdiction. Now that sounds bad at first glance, that they've allowed loot boxes. But when you consider it a bit more, you realise it's not actually as bad as you think. Because the committee members also said that they included mentions that they have significant concern. I'm reading this off of a sheet of paper. Significant concern because of the link between loot boxes and problem gambling.
Yeah.
They also mentioned that prizes are of personal value to the player, and that future legislational changes should take into account that sort of thing. Basically what that means is that value shouldn't be strictly monetary. It should be something else as well.
Yeah.
So if people really want skins, they really want cars in GTA, they really want all these things, and they will pay real money to get them. So it has a personal value. And if you're talking about gambling, it's not just real world value that makes people do it. It's personal value.
Yes, it does, yeah.
I mean, nobody just wants money. People want the things that money brings.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I don't know if this is a stretch, but I say that sometimes I have a problem with things like that. Like, I've got to watch how much I'm spending on certain things, like go to like when I was in my teens or something like that, going to something like an arcade. You find sometimes they're in cinemas or they're on a beach or something like that, and they have games there, and you have to make all these lights line up or something like that. You pay like £2.50 and you get 3 goes, and you win like some headphones. Or even at fairgrounds and things like that, where you're like trying to put a hoop over something. I used to do that, and I used to spend quite a bit of money on that. So I can understand how, because I really, really wanted like I don't know, the jar of sweets, the headphones, the mobile phone. So that has personal value to me. So I don't know if that's similar, but I can understand why people consider that to be gambling. Because looking back now, I consider that to be gambling.
That's exactly what they're saying.
Yeah.
But the reason that they couldn't find them to be loot boxes isn't because it's their personal opinion or their official opinion or their expertise opinion. They found them not to be gambling because the legislation currently written in the United Kingdom is that you must be able to convert your winnings into real world money.
Okay.
So therefore they are not considered gambling, so they can't be regulated by the Gambling Commission.
But what I'm saying is they should consider that to be
Yes,
gambling.
and they've said that themselves, but
Okay.
they can't change the legislation. So they're basically recommending to Parliament
change the regulation.
Change the legislation so that we can actually start to do something.
Yes.
They also think that a lot of the age recommendations should be altered to take into account the fact that games are now basically marketing what they're calling, I think it was like light gambling light, to children.
Yeah.
I mean, GTA is not marketed to children, but like something like Fortnite probably is, and has loot boxes in it.
Yeah.
So, like I've said this before, I really have no problem with loot boxes as long as everything in the game can be earned in game and doesn't affect your ability to play too much.
Yeah, because it's not fair the fact that if loot boxes just contain something that cannot be won in a game.
Exactly. Like Black Ops 4 has actual guns which actually affect your ability to play the game.
Yeah.
In the loot boxes. One of the guns was so powerful that the people who got the gun were asking them to nerf it because they were finding it too easy to basically just kill everyone.
Yeah.
That's their idea. No, and I'm not talking about being able to buy it real world money. I'm talking about you earn some sort of in-game currency and you unlock them for cosmetics.
Yeah.
That's it. If you want to have microtransactions, that's a separate issue because it's not gambling. It's purchasing something.
Yeah.
I don't think you should have loot boxes. Like, have a loot box with an earned in-game currency where people can get stuff but they don't pay real money for, because that will keep them playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
But don't make them pay real money for it. Don't lock things behind it. Make everything, and also keep the effect that it has on the game to a minimum. Like in Halo, for example, it does affect gameplay, but only in some types of games, which it tells you it affects gameplay.
Yeah. Your
unlocked wrecks affect gameplay in the Warzone area of the game. You know that going in.
Yeah.
It's the way you do it. Would I prefer to see them remove the money stuff from Halo 5, the loot boxes with money? Yes. I think it would be way better. But I've got no problem with loot boxes themselves as long as they
as
stay
long as
within...
upfront with us.
And they also stay in a strict remit. And no money's strict remit, and they're upfront about what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see in a loot box a weapon I'm using in single player.
Yeah.
But I like playing the game, getting a loot box, trying to unlock all the stuff in Halo. I'm enjoying that.
Yeah.
So there is a place for it, but
of course, yeah. But it's just people
properly.
people taking it to a new extreme with, not extreme, but manipulating it just to make money.
Well, the issue here is the fact that I was thinking about this the other day.
Or manipulating the players into believing they need to buy them in order to have a better gameplay experience.
Well, it's not just that. It's also the fact they're manipulating the players into buying them because opening a loot box is inherently addictive. It's like opening a birthday present.
Yes.
But you're not actually feeling the money. You're not putting in a credit card. You're just saying yes on a button and then you've paid real money.
That's what, yeah.
And that's the issue. That's why it feels like a birthday present, because all you've done is hit A twice and then you've got something.
Yeah. It's the same like, I used to only really like paying in cash because I always found that was easier to keep track of my money, because I found if it was a real world thing, I felt it and handed it over to somebody. It's like, oh, I've just spent £10.
You've actually converted something for something else, yes.
Yeah, whereas if it's a piece of plastic, tapping it or putting in a pin, you sometimes don't really realise how much you've spent at the end of the day.
I was always really good with holding on to that. That was never a problem for me, but I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I would say was like that.
Yeah. No, I agree.
A comparison, there we go.
Mm-hmm. So I've got no problem with loot box mechanics in it. But I was thinking about it the other day, and I realised that if you look at EA and Activision and all the rest of it, a lot of people keep saying that the reason they've got to have microtransactions and loot boxes in their games is because it costs so much money to make a game. Right?
Yeah.
And this actually links to the second story that I wanted to talk about. So
continue then.
I'm just going to double check, right? Are you got anything else to say about the first story?
What I will say is that the kind of environment GTA is, from what I've experienced, what I've learned about it over the past year or so, is that this is going to be kind of like anything goes kind of game. So I understand that that they'll bring in a gambling mechanic, but at the same time, I don't understand if you've got laws against that in your country, why even allow that DLC to happen in that country?
They don't.
But I mean, like, even just adapting it, I mean, just stop.
Because if no real money, world money is involved, I would have no problem with this mechanic at all if there was no real money exchange mechanism for Grand Theft Auto Online.
In terms of the fact that gambling laws are so restrictive in so many countries, in so many states in America, that it's all different no matter where you go. Maybe make it just an in-world currency thing. Don't make it an out-world currency thing.
But that's the thing, is that they make a lot of money from the shark cards, and the shark cards out with this aren't actually that big a deal. Because you just buy some currency, that's totally fine.
Well, what if they made it so you couldn't buy the cards and not pay part of the game? Because if people are finding a way around that, could they do that?
I think some countries would still... I don't agree with it, but some countries would still ban it just because it's gambling, even though it's not.
Okay.
There's no benefit at all.
Okay.
I think that's wrong. Because I don't agree that there has to be a real world money outcome at the end, but I do think that there needs to be an in-game... I think the problem is that you would go looking for actual gambling if you lost all your money in the game and couldn't gamble anymore and you become addicted. But that's sort of the distinction. So if you take into account the fact that some countries have banned gambling, right, so they don't want you to play it because you could end up basically getting addicted to gambling through the game, even if you're not using real world money, and then you go out and use real world money because your in-game money's gone.
Yeah.
Right? Or you buy a shark card, or they ban shark cards.
Yes.
You're still at risk. If you take into... So that then leads into the reason that they've self-regulated.
Mm-hmm.
But it would have been nicer to see them have a sort of thing where once you've lost so much, basically something happens in-game that says you might actually have a problem.
Yeah, maybe. See, like, we've noticed you spent X amount of money. We recommend that you seek professional help.
I don't think you could say that, but you could have your character taken into a meeting with like a psychologist or a psychiatrist or something, or a gambling anonymous meeting, and then your character has to go through that before you can play the rest of the game.
Maybe, yeah. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. It's also the fact that they've limited it to 50,000 chips an hour, which is £60. Now that could be, don't regulate us, please. It could also be a case of we want to put the casino in, but we don't know how to mix that with the fact you can buy shark cards.
Yeah. Because
there's no way to separate the monies.
Mm-hmm.
Unless they did that. Unless they separated the two types of money. You know, shark card money can be used to buy things, but you can't use it in the casino.
Yeah.
Earned money can, and it's two separate monies.
Yeah, you could do that, yeah.
That would work.
Those are all my questions. But that's all I have to say.
I can't help but feel... I know that Take-Two, Rockstar, they're just as... They want money just like everybody else, but I can't help but feel that the fact that they've stayed so far away from loot boxes, even when they were popular, it makes me think that a big part of this is just that they wanted to have a casino in their game.
Yeah.
But there you go. We've already come up with a couple of solutions to the problems anyway.
But you said this was connected to the next story we're going to be... Oh, the next
thing we're going to talk about. I think this will be regulated. I think there will be a change in law. I think loot boxes will be covered. I think they're pushing it too far.
Anytime that there's a big change like this, you can't... Laws have got to change. They've got to adapt. They've got to be amended for the change in the environment.
The difference, of course, that you're not remembering is the fact that the UK is in the middle of Brexit and is doing nothing but Brexit.
Yeah.
The chances of them changing gambling laws to protect kiddies and vulnerable people.
I don't mean just us. I don't mean just us. I mean everybody.
Yes, but other countries will look at it.
Yeah.
The difference is that we're like we're in the top 5, I think, for gaming revenue.
Yeah.
So we need to do this.
Well, nothing's going to be looked at, like you say, till after.
Yeah.
October.
I don't think this would be allowed in Japan, but then they've got that ridiculous pachinko workaround.
I don't know what that is, but I don't...
It's a machine where you basically play a game, right? You pay some money, you play a game, right?
Yeah.
And then if you win these sort of like tickets, and then you take them to a different shop, and they'll take the tickets and give you a prize.
Okay.
It's something like that, but that's gambling.
Yeah.
And the reason they get around it is because it's 2 different entities.
So they split it up.
Yeah. So the money going in goes one way, the money coming out comes from somewhere else, so it's not considered linked, so it's a way around their gambling laws. Anyway, like I said before, I've worked out a half decent segue here, so have you...
I do not have anything else to say on the last one, so that you can do your segue.
So here we go. Prepare, ladies and gentlemen.
I am on the edge of my seat, theoretically.
So, a lot of people, developers like, in this case it's Take-Two, Rockstar, but there's also EA and Activision.
Yeah.
They want to get as much money as possible, particularly EA and Activision. They want to get as much money as possible. Give me the money, give me the money. And Bethesda seems to be going down that line as well. Give me the money, give me the money, give me the money.
Calm down.
And they keep saying, well, it's because games, they take so much time and money to make. Well, it's interesting because you don't seem to actually spend any on making your games. So that then leads on quite nicely to the second story that we will be discussing today, CD Projekt Red.
You want to say that a bit louder for the mic?
CD Projekt Red!
And what about CD Projekt Red?
So, they've been asked some questions as they've been developing. I think they were originally asked these things for The Witcher 3, and they've been asked them for CyberPunk 2077.
Yeah.
Will there be Day 1 DLC?
What's Day 1 DLC?
It's a popular thing now. It was massively against the will of the people when it started, but they've just succumbed to the might of these mighty corporations, these overbearing monoliths.
Okay. Tell me what it is then.
DLC, you know what that is? Downloadable content.
Yes, I know what a DLC is.
So they've got DLC on day 1, and that allows them to split the normal package with the slightly better package. And it's not just, it's like, they then have like 18 different versions. Now, remember the Anthem debacle, which you needed to like speak to the dead to work out when your version of the game could be played.
Yes.
That's sort of it bleeds into that.
Okay.
You have to buy the special edition of the game, otherwise you'll never get this character. It's not like in the old days where you could, buy the character separately. Yeah, you've got to be... They did that with like Mass Effect. They'd have like DLC that would be released basically on day 1, like a character you couldn't get any other way.
Yeah.
So people would buy the special edition for it rather than the normal one. I hate day 1 DLC. So to combat it, I'll wait until it's on sale. But
show it.
Yeah, so CD Projekt were asked about day 1 DLC, and they said...
Stick it to the man. I'm going to wait till it's on sale.
I doubt they said that.
Not you.
Me? Oh, I'm sticking to the man, yeah.
I'll still buy it, just when it's reduced price.
No, they were asked if they were going to have day 1 DLC in Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
I think they were asked for The Witcher 3 as well, and they said no. No!
You went very close to my face there.
Right.
You almost made me swear.
Nope. And then they were asked about pre-order bonuses, and they said, "What do you mean?" And they guy went off on one of some weird question, about how it's a tangent he went off on. Sorry, I said he went off on one. That sounds like he lost his temper. I mean, he went off on a tangent, and he was asking about pre-order bonuses, like in game content in game. He said no. CD Projekt Red will release Cyberpunk 2077 two versions: the standard edition for most people, and the limited collector's edition for people who want stuff you wouldn't otherwise get out of the game. Mm-hmm. So it's like little collectibles, like a little statue or a book or something like that. It will not be in game. Everybody will get the exact same game, whether they buy it now, in 2 years, whether or not they buy it on sale, or whether or not they buy it pre-ordered, or whether or not they buy the limited or normal edition. It'll be the same in-game game.
Very good.
So that links back to the first story, which links to this story, which leads naturally to a question. Why do all those other companies say it costs so much to make a game that they have to put microtransactions and loot boxes in, but this game can be made normally, the way it was made back in my pappy's day? And she's dead.
It's an interesting question. I don't have an answer for it.
No, I do.
Is it big wigs taking a lot of money?
No, it's capitalism, market forces, poor business strategy.
Interesting.
Do you want me to explain that?
Yes.
So basically EA, Activision, companies like that have for so long eked every single little penny out of every game that they've made that they're not used to releasing a game that doesn't make billions. So if they release a game and it doesn't make billions, the problem that they have is that it doesn't move the needle for them. So basically what happens is that it's irrelevant to them to put out a game that makes a couple of 100 million, because it just doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
They need to make billions, because that's what they've been doing in the past. So that's the only way that they can finance a game, is because if the game doesn't make billions, it makes a lot less than they thought it would make, and therefore it causes a problem with the shareholders and the market value. Mm-hmm. So they've basically built themselves on a tower of greed. They'd be in a perfectly suitable financial situation if they hadn't done that, whereas now they're richer but far more delicate. If you ban loot boxes worldwide, they crash. Like EA and Activision disappear as companies almost overnight.
Yeah.
Because they can't. EA might be able to quickly switch to making more games. Activision doesn't have the IP; it can't do it. So if you were to ban loot boxes overnight or heavily regulate them, these companies would sink.
Yeah.
I mean, a good example is an interview that was done by one previous, I think it was EA. Mm-hmm. It was like a previous chief operating officer or executive officer or financial officer or something like that. And he gave an interview, it wasn't an interview, was it maybe a board meeting or something like that, or a shareholder meeting, where he was speaking to the people there, and he said that we're getting to a point where you're going to be able to charge in game for certain things. We've found through experimentation that people's decision making ability is extremely compromised in mid game. So if you've put 5 or 6 hours into a game and you're stuck in a mission and you've run out of bullets, I think this was Battlefield they were talking about, and we charged you $1 to reload your weapon, your decision-making process, once you're that many hours in, you're invested, you're in the height of combat, you're nearly completed, is so poor that you would happily pay that. Mm-hmm. So it's a really good market model that we hope to see in the future. I'm paraphrasing, but this is the impression I got from listening. This is mostly what he said. And what that means is they'll start charging you basically DLC to reload your gun. That's where they're headed. That has to be cut off. Now, as you've seen from Rockstar, where they've self-regulated to 50,000 chips an hour, they already know that some of them know they're smart enough to realise they've got to curb it. but others can't. They have to try and take every penny they can because their market model relies on it. So that's why those companies come out and say it costs them so much money to make a game, because they have to make billions, otherwise
they're sunk.
Their stock market value will crash. Shareholders lose confidence, all sorts of problems, and then a publicly traded company just shrinks. CD Projekt Red, on the other hand, I don't know if they're privately traded or not, but they don't rely on that market model. They've not played about with the billions, so they don't need to silk up every single penny.
Yeah.
They can keep it smaller, but more stable.
Mm-hmm.
They still have to sell their game, but the long and short of it is so does everybody else. Everybody has to sell their game, because even EA and Activision can't sell loot boxes for a game they didn't sell.
No.
That's
well, it makes sense,
why, yeah. That's why that's where loot boxes, microtransactions all stemmed from. It wasn't just greed. It's now there because those companies are based financially on greed. They're not stable.
No. Company can't survive like that.
So what you might see is when EA collapses, you might see some of the old games come back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people come in and say, right, I want the Mass Effect IP, I want the blah 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 IP, I'll have Dead Space IP. You know, they'll just tear the company to pieces and start making the games again.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, it's a good side.
Good.
But we'll need to, like I said, America seems to be moving towards doing something about loot boxes. The UK won't, because we're too busy with Brexit. Japan already has. There's lots of countries. It's now harder to do than it ever has been, and countries are moving steadily towards that. So it's getting there. But we need a worldwide ban on real money loot boxes.
Indeed.
Microtransactions I can kind of get. As long as they're locked into being cosmetic only.
Mm-hmm.
And DLC I can understand as long as you're buying actual new content.
Yeah.
But if they were to like lock bullets behind a microtransaction window, then no, that company should be sued.
Yeah. Which kind of leads me nicely into the last.
The birds agree.
Yes.
But you were saying it leads you yes.
Nicely into our last little well, not a little story. I should never say it a little story.
No, into our last story. It does lead nicely into it, because I was ripping Activision there, and this is about a company that has
departed from
No, on a global scale ripped Activision a new one. They have shamed them.
I'll let you, because you love this story, so.
And you are correct. They have recently left Activision. They have fled.
Departed ways.
Yeah, it must have been like the Great Escape. Do you reckon they were digging tunnels out through like the toilets and stuff like that? We're ready to go, guys. Go, go, go. And you just see all these guys jumping in the toilet, swimming through.
I'm sorry. Have we combined the Great Escape and Train Spotting?
No. It's the Great Escape combined with all the people working at Bungie grabbing Destiny 2 and just swimming to freedom through the toilets.
Yes, and there's a scene like that almost in Train Spotting.
So...
the worst toilet in Scotland.
So, Destiny 2. Bungie freed themselves from the evil grasp of the warlord Activision and his mighty spell of Blizzard, and have made some changes to try and make Destiny 2 an actual game. Like it was, I'm sure, when they started making it. So they've made some alterations, some changes, some addenda, some blah blah blah, and I will outline them here, if you wouldn't mind, Flower Pot Woman. Bungie has altered the microtransaction system, the Eververse shop, for Destiny 2 to make it fairer. Basically, the Eververse was their microtransaction shop. You go in and spend real world money currency for things. Mm-hmm. Armour was sold in the Eververse, and this armour did affect gameplay. It actually had certain parts in it. Now, Bungie had to be careful at the time, because they didn't want to make a game with this. They didn't want the stuff in the Eververse. They wanted it to be left purely cosmetic. They did not want to see this actual gameplay items in loot boxes.
Yeah.
So they tried to make the stuff in there really rubbish.
Yeah.
Crubbish, apparently. They tried to make it Crubbish, and that's why some of it wasn't great, but they couldn't get the stuff out because Activision were giving them their orders, so they were able to sneak around it, but it was still bad. I believe also the in the first game there was colours you could earn. I can't remember what they were called, like primers or something like that.
Right.
And they basically acted as skins, colour shaders for your armour or for your ghost. They could have a different colour. So you put the armour on and it looked a certain way, but you could then apply a shader that changed its colour.
Yeah.
In this, they were expendable, so once you used a shader, it disappeared. I think in the first game, they were permanent. You could just swap them in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Once you unlocked it, you unlocked it. That they were also in the Eververse too.
Mm-hmm.
Now all the armaments have been changed to what they've called ornaments. Now ornaments don't have an actual change; they just act like a skin. So you've got the armour underneath, and then this armour on top looks different, but it functions as the actual piece of armour.
So it's purely cosmetic. It's not functional whatsoever.
Exactly. All previously bought armour will be retrospectively changed.
Yes, because I saw this and they said that...
retrospectively might be wrong there. It will now be changed into ornaments.
Even if you bought it like years ago.
Yes, but you could say that's retrospective. They won't... Basically, retrospective to me says that they might go back and say, well, you only won this fight because of this piece of armour, so we're taking it away. That's not it. But anything you've already bought will be changed as well.
Yeah.
So what were you saying? Or was that what you were saying?
Oh, that's what I was saying.
Yeah, that's what you were saying.
I was really confused. I was like, what was I saying apart from that?
Right, sorry, that's what you were saying. Now, bright dust is a currency in the game that's used to purchase cosmetics and is obtained from breaking down duplicate items that you have earned, I believe. You could do it like from the loot boxes, from Everstore as well.
Yeah, but you can, I don't know if it's the new, was it Shadow Keep, yeah. You can earn bright dust through activities such as Vanguard bounties. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Bright dust is now pay to win currency.
Yeah.
It's now a play to win currency, not a pay to get currency.
Yeah.
So you shouldn't get duplicate items anymore because I think they've taken that away.
Yeah.
Like the loot box element. And bright dust can so it's now a play to win currency and can be collected as a regular gameplay reward from gameplay.
Yeah.
From missions, like you said. So the Vanguard is a unit type.
Yeah.
So you can choose to be a Vanguard, a Hunter, or a Warlock.
Mm-hmm.
And the Vanguard bounties, I think there'll be other bounties as well.
That's just an example. That's just an example.
The bounties are just things like kill 100 enemies on this area, or get so many headshots. There'll also be for doing the missions, I'd assume.
Yeah.
And this is a free currency that you earn to buy cosmetics, separate from other currencies in the game, which I quite like that idea.
Mm-hmm. Same.
It's very player friendly.
Yeah.
Consumer friendly, sorry. Player friendly. Blah 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 blah. Where was I? Yes, they're also removing the bright dust sinkholes regarding use and movement items. Now, I think you had to pay bright dust to apply shaders or other mods, and then you had to pay it to remove them, or to move them between characters. It was weird. You had to use bright dust to move items and keep them, or to swap them between characters or something like that. I'd never played the game, so all I know is that you had to spend bright dust on something that should be as easy as clicking a button.
Yeah.
They've removed that. Now that was a sink. Like I mentioned before with GTA, that was used to drain some of the currency, so people would have to spend more real time. And sometimes you need a sink to balance the world economy.
Yeah. But sometimes it gets a bit too
much.
But
in this case, it's not being used as a sink to balance the in-game economy. It's being used as a sink to make you pay real-world money.
Yes.
In this case, they've removed that.
Good.
See, I think they've actually also removed... You can pay for those things in the Eververse, but I think you can also pay for them in Bright Dust.
Mm-hmm.
So you can pay for a cosmetic, or you can earn it yourself, do whatever you want. So they've removed the loot boxy mechanics and any art. There's nothing, like I said, nothing with any in-game effect that costs money. So they've removed some of the sinks and given you it for free as well. So in response to all of this, and this includes the news that that we'll come to in a second, but in response to everything that's happened here, just the fact that Bungie are free from Activision, Destiny 2's daily active players has gone back up above 1 million mark.
That's fantastic.
Now this is just after it was just over half of that, so it's about 600,000, just under 600,000.
Yeah.
It dropped to that at its lowest, and now it's gone back up to above 1 million. Now, Forsaken did a lot to make the game more acceptable, to make it better, but this says, like, we're seriously going to make this a good game. Like, see all that Activision rubbish?
Yeah.
We'll CD Projekt Redding it from here, son, and just wham, away it goes, right? They'll have some in-game stuff, but like I said, entirely optional, and you can earn it in-game with in-game currency, you don't have to buy it. I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah. It's nice that you actually have something like that.
Because remember, they're going to make this free to play, so they do need some transactions to keep it running.
Yeah.
I totally get that. And on top of the fact that they're going to have the expansions where you spend like 20 or 30 quid a year to get the expansion content, but those are going to be like a game's worth of content, so that's fine. I get that. And also you're going to be able to pick and choose what you want. Yeah. So if you hear that one of them is bad, you won't play it, and that's the company basically accepting responsibility. Yeah. But you can buy the one after that, and the rubbish one has to be fixed if they want to sell it. You can't be forced into buying it just so you can follow the story, as it were. But as I was just going to say, that it's gone back above the 1 million mark, and it's not even free to play yet. So that's people, buying the game, rebuying the game, taking dusty old copies out that they've not played in a long time, putting them back in. It's getting interest back in the game, and that's, like I said, it's them. Cool. They're not entirely CD Projekt Redding it, as it were, because they've still got in-game microtransactions, but they are because it's free to play. It's a different model. You can't really directly compare them. No, yeah. So if you do a direct comparison and you take into account the changes, it's perfectly reasonable. So they've basically just picked up the Activision ball, absolutely punted it, and said, right, we're CD Projekt Redding it from here, son. And I'm really excited for that. Same. I'm excited to play it. But I don't have to play Destiny 1 first. It's not that bad. I don't know if the PlayStation 3 version still works, but I've still got that, so you could play that one. Oh, cool. But I would obviously rather... it's interesting because they're going to make Destiny 2 free to play, but they seem to still be sticking with Destiny. I'm wondering if because Destiny 1 is done with and there's no more content for it, that they can't, like Activision just own that and they can't do anything about it. I think the fact that if they make the fact that one game is free to play, that makes more people enticed to go buy the first one. But I don't know who gets the money from that. That's what I'm trying to say. Might be Activision. We shall find out. Yeah. Anyway, I'm excited. I'm glad you're excited. Goody goody gumdrops. So do you have anything else to add to things now? Anything else, stories? No, I'm very happy. That was a very, very happy That's a happy note to end on, I think. No, it was all a happy one. Yeah. I think. But even happier note to end on. Yeah, the best is the happy notes to end on. Because I really liked the gameplay in Destiny 1, and it's just the things that Activision made Bungie do for extra pennies that ruined. Well, we hope you guys have had a good time with this story, this episode. I do. So, if you would like to hear more happy stories, hopefully in the future, you could subscribe to our channel, hit the notification bell to find out when we upload. Also, I know we've been promising this for months and months and months, but we will eventually get some actual gameplay footage on the channel. Yes. And just hear me screaming at Tommy to stop annoying me. Or something. Or don't poke me in the eye when I'm playing. If you would like to follow us at Facebook at OverShadow.ShadowCast, if you'd like to email us at OverShadow.ShadowCast@gmail.com, that'd be great. If you'd like to leave a comment, that'd be fantastic. Please like and subscribe below and click the notification bell. I already said that. Well, I'm just adding it in anyway, because last time you said, please email us, and then forgot half the email address. If you'd like to contact us, OverShadow.com. Was that not right? Is that not the email address? Something like that. Yeah, you left out the Gmail part.
last time.
Yeah, so it was
ShadowCast.
overshadow.shadowcast.com.
I got really confused because I said one thing before I said the other.
Aye.
So normally I go, was it the Gmail, and then I do the Facebook.
Yeah, but you did the Facebook and you basically just.
But I also did that.
yourself.
I also did that this week, but I managed to get the actual email address out.
I think that was because I made fun of you so heartily last week.
Yes.
That you've learned.
Yes,
not to be
I've
such
learned
a
from my
silly Billy.
mistakes. So I will say thank you for joining us. So I hope you join us next week.
Do you know we don't normally say that? Enjoy us, see you next week. We don't normally say that. We just say we hope you enjoyed. Bye. We don't say.
I hope you enjoyed it. Well, hopefully we'll see you guys next week. Or
see you next week.
You'll hear us next week.
We'll see you, but you won't see us.
You never see us. We're always there.
Yeah. So the next episode will obviously be out next Wednesday. So we hope you join in then as well.
Yes.
And we will say bye bye.
Ta-ta.
Bye bye.